Support for cereal comes from
Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. They're more than good.
They're great.
This is a Global Tel-Link prepaid call from
Justin Choi.
Animate at Ridgewood High School.
From This Basic Life in WOOD in Ridgewood, it's Serial. One story told once. I'm Matt Zackham. We think we know about language, but do we know how language shapes our thinking? The thing with language is that we, as humans, are always conversing with each other, but we rarely stop and consider the effect words have on us. Words are meaningful. I know, I've been there. After meticulously reading a variety of stories throughout the year in English 11 Honors, I've come to the conclusion that language can be used differently to convey a certain message. And I'm not an English professor or any expert for that matter. In fact, I don't really know anything at all. I've tried to figure out the meanings of these stories for a really long time. This is just something I thought about for a while and decided to get into the nitty-gritty of it all. It's frustrating, but it's what I do. I need to find out, how does language make us think? This is the essential question to get to the bottom of the human thought process.
All of these flappers and their jelly beans just seem so ingenuine.
That's Nick Carraway, my first subject. He's your typical small-town boy with big dreams, which is why he ended up moving to work in New York City. You probably noticed his accent and you might find it peculiar. It sounds like he's from the Midwest, but he uses fancy words and speaks very loudly like a true New Yorker, as if he's trying to assert his dominance. Nick is a good listener. In fact, I've gathered that he rarely is the one doing the talking, preferring to hear the words of others. This skill has allowed Nick to understand exactly what the people surrounding him are talking about, and in some cases, he has even uncovered their true intention. What about New York frustrated you so much?
The issue with me is that my lineage originates in Minnesota. I grew up with the axiom that hard work and perseverance would lead to success both in my personal life and in the business world. Thus, when I arrived in West Egg and my acquaintances introduced me to the New York lifestyle, I was greatly unprepared for the disappointments to come. In the Midwest, people speak passionately. Their speeches reflect their values. These acquaintances spoke oddly. Everything they said had some hidden meaning that demonstrated their material desires. For example, I had this friend named Gatsby, who once beautifully described my cousin Daisy, saying her voice is full of money. This line revealed to me that my dear friend Gatsby was merely attracted to Daisy's wealth. Absolutely disgusting.
So I'm guessing you are not a fan of this Gatsby figure? Like, it must really annoy you that he acts this way.
You know, I actually don't completely feel that way. Gatsby amazed me, but his language made me think lowly of him. He made life to be a game, and he had to be the champion.
So, you'd say the way Gatsby and your other friends, I'm guessing, talked about life annoyed you so much that you could not take it anymore?
Definitely. Everything they said portrayed life as some material object, and that viewpoint simply does not align with my Midwestern values.
So it seems that Nick became disillusioned with New York once he realized how petty his pals were and his conversations with them. I would feel that way too. So what do we know now? Language can turn others away when it becomes disingenuous and materialistic. Seems simple enough. Next, I'm going to talk to Holden Caulfield. He's like you and me, just a regular teenager going about life. But Holden's fallen on some hard times. He's unhappy with life. His little brother passed away a few years ago, everyone around him is a phony, and no one seems to care. So Holden, I've been reading your journal, and it's very impressive. I just want to know, what is making you feel this way?
I mean, people are always so damn phony. No one ever speaks their mind like I do. They just lie through their teeth.
Why do you think that is the case?
Because people can't think right. They have to use different ways to talk, like the word salutations and grand. Who the hell uses that kind of language? These stupid little words literally have no meaning. Why can't you just say hello or good? I feel that people should use simple words like everybody knows.
But don't you think there should be an elegance to our language? Isn't that what makes English so beautiful?
All those rich and spoiled phonies that say stupid stuff to impress people should just go back to wherever they came from. And so all those stupid phonies out there, no one cares. Just take your stupid fancy car and leave. This just shows how immature people really are. All they can do is just act fake. They can't even think like on their own, like a mature adult. It's so stupid. They should just grow up.
So how would simple language improve communication?
If everyone used a simple language, there would be no more phonies. Everyone could just say exactly what they mean to say. No one would be confused and wonder what the hell the other person was saying. I think we just need to get rid of all the phony and stupid words.
And what would you define those words as?
I don't know, calligraphy, diligence, intoxication, stupid words like that. Words like that are just annoying. All they do is confuse everyone and increase the phoniness of everyone else. These words are just depressing as hell.
I mean, do you think that people can still sound educated even if their diction isn't complex?
Definitely. Like, I met some of the stupidest people on my journeys. Like these girls at this hotel club. Man, they were morons. I mean, my sister Phoebe is like 10 years old, and she's more mature than them, and Sally and Stradler, and all those phonies who think they're so smart. I mean, her language isn't even like these morons I met. Hers is simple and quick, the kind that I think should be used by everyone.
So I take it you like your sister.
Yeah, I mean, she's like my favorite person in the world. She's the only one that ever understood me, and I think that other people should be just like her. If everyone was like her, then the world would be just so much better.
So Holden thinks that simple language makes us see the people who use it as genuine and real. Seems like Holden thinks similarly to our old friend, Nick. Now I have a real-world guest on air. His name is Adnan Syed, a convicted murderer. Don't get too worried though. Spectators are still not sure if Adnan did the crime, and he's been very popular on other podcasts before this one.
So Koenig brought you my way. You trying to do another story about my case or something?
Not exactly, but I do want to know if you think you lost your case because of how language shaped the jury's thinking.
I don't know, really haven't thought about it like that. I guess you can say that Miss Gutierrez messed up bad, and that might have sunk my case, you know what I'm saying?
But what do you think she did wrong to get you to where you are today?
Really, I don't like to say it, but it seemed like she did a pretty crappy job when presenting my case. I mean, she missed a lot of important evidence, and even if she did mention it, it wasn't in a way that it would sway the jury.
Can you highlight a particular thing about the way she talked that might have hurt your case?
There were these long stretches of time, you know what I'm saying, of her just droning on about some unimportant crap. Like, why the hell would she spend an hour talking about Pakistani heritage? That probably bored the jury to death, and I understand that.
Was this boring style of speech the only factor in hurting your case?
Nah, I think it was her yelling too. When she was cross-examining Jay, she yelled and had this loud, high-pitched voice, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't look great when half the jury is black and you got this little white woman yelling at a black teen. I mean, she was screaming at him the entire time. Honestly, I would understand why the jury would be pissed.
So you think the way Ms. Gutierrez presented information had a lot to do with her failure?
For sure. I got no doubt in my mind it was like that. The prosecution pretty much had no case, and there was all this evidence that could have helped me, which really sucks. The jury must have not liked something about Ms. Gutierrez because even her good arguments got ignored.
Are you sure that it wasn't just because you seemed guilty? Why blame your guilty verdict on her?
Because I didn't fucking do it. Damn, man. I thought you had actually listened to Koenig's podcast.
I'll stop there because Adnan started lashing out. My lord, I have no idea how Koenig worked with this guy. I definitely didn't offend him in any way. Anyway, it appears that language could have put a dent in Adnan's case because Ms. Gutierrez's style of speaking made the jury see her as aggressive. This ultimately made Adnan seem more likely to be guilty. So here's a quick recap of everything we learned from our interviews in English 11 Honors. We found that language has a significant effect on the way readers and listeners think. In Nick's case, language really offends you if you interpret it as fake and materialistic. The same goes for Holden, but he goes above and beyond Nick's opinion. He believes that simple language is the best language, for it conveys one's message without any phoniness. And in some cases, language can change everything. For Adnan, his attorney's language definitely did not frame her and Adnan in a positive light. This factor possibly pushed the jury to convict Adnan. So what is it about language? It seems that the ways in which we converse can easily influence the opinions of those around us. When we talk about any topic in detail, it is important to frame the message in a form that relays exactly what you want to say, so that there are no misinterpretations. Well, thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from our English 11 Honors interviews and podcast. For the last time, this is Matt Zackham, signing off. Serial is produced by myself, Justin Choi, Noah Chen, and David Mann.